Hello, so we are back today. So we stopped off at my first job, which was at the Neighborhood Planning Council number 5, the incident that really frightened me. And now we move on to in 11th grade, I was able to get into a special program that was really in the summers to work. And it was about the Xerox Corporation, and it was really for athletes and those who I have a certain grade point average. So I was blessed to be a part of that. So that was the summer of 11th grade. So I didn't have to work anymore with them. So then when I got into 12th grade, because I had a half day schedule, I was able to do the stay in school program that was sponsored or created by our Mayor for Life, Mayor Marion Barry. He also did the summer youth program. I never participated in that because I already had a job and I was blessed to be in other programs. But this time, because I had a half a day schedule in the 12th grade, I was able to do the stay in school program, and I worked for the Federal Home Loan Bank Board. And so two other of my classmates also was a part of that. And so, we really got close. We did a lot of things. And even when I graduated, the one of the directors in my department took me out to Charlie Chang, nice restaurant, Chinese restaurant. And she let me invite, my two classmates to come along. So that was really cool. Her name was Cynthia Gray. I remember that. I remember Mr. Tucker. Robert Tucker was the main guy. Then there was Peggy Spoon. Then there was I worked Ann Bowman, and then these names Sandy. Sandy was someone else. But anyway, working on that job, let me tell you. Okay, I'm working from home today, so that's why I'm on the here. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, this is really cool. So one of the guys that worked there, I forget his name, but anyway, he was like, hey, would you like to make $5,000? Now, I was like, huh? What? It was to marry, quote unquote, an African prince so he could get here and get his green card. I was like, oh, heck to the no. And I couldn't believe that he was asking me this. Okay. Yes. Now, at this time that he asked me, I wasn't in high school. I had just started college. And so I was like, no. And so then he acted like he was kidding. But no, he wasn't kidding. And so anyway, another situation that happened for our Christmas party, they had this wine in a box. Okay, first of all, I'm not a drinker. So one of my other classmates, who, not the two that I was generally close to, but anyway, and she was no harm, no foul. So she was going around saying, hey, y'all want something to drink? So he was like, yeah. So she brought me a cup. And I was like, oh, this is so sweet. Oh my gosh. She was like, you want some more? I was like, yeah. So I'm thinking it's like a punch. It had a punch though, but I'm thinking like it's some type of fruity punch or whatever. So I get another glass, and OMG, that stuff kicked in. So I'm dancing right to the music, grooving to the point that the director, he was like, hey, you want to dance? Yeah. And then he was like, do you do this? Have you been in dance school or whatever? So I don't know what kind of dance I was doing for him to even ask me that. So I remember like, oh, no, no, no. And so he was like, okay, well, really great, great. So then all of a sudden, okay, so I couldn't drive home. So two guys, I know his name was Cedric and Howard. I think that was the other guy. And both of them went to Howard, and they were older than me. So I was a junior I was a freshman at this time, and they were juniors. Okay. So they was like, okay, I'll take you home. Got in his car and immediately had to swing the door open and blah. Okay. So I was like, oh my God. He was like, I am so happy. He said, are you finished? Are you sure you finished before we take off? Because you can't be doing that in my car. So I was like, yeah, yeah. So I laid the seat back a bit and he took me home, which was so nice because, he could have took advantage of a sister. But anyway, I was happy to be home, and my mother knew that something was up. I was a little tipsy. I just told her I must have ate something, and I wasn't feeling that great. But okay, so that was really interesting. That was my first time getting, I guess, drunk. So knowing that off of wine in a box. And that's when I found out it was wine in a box that my friend Adrian kept bringing to me. And so that was really interesting. So apart from that, Federal Home Loan Bank Board, I was the one that was aggregating all of the 12 districts in the United States. They had to report their lending practices to the Federal Home Loan Bank Board. And that's when I learned about discriminatory and predatory lending, and how minorities was not given loans as much as the others. Okay. And that's when I was like, wow, wow. It was very educational, but also it was like, really? And so that was in the 80s. So not too much has changed. But anyway, so I went from there, and then I went to work. Well, my grandma passed at 19. I met a guy that I met him at church, actually. He was 5 years older than me, and that's a whole nother story. But from that, when my grandmother passed, before she passed, I started helping my mom with her care, and I'm young, but I gave up my Friday nights to be there for my grandmother, and then my mother would come and take over, and then during the week, Monday through Thursday, Friday afternoon, we had a health aide, because my mom wasn't going to put my grandmother in a nursing home. So that's how we did it. And I'm blessed to have experienced that and to spend even time with my grandma before she transitioned. And I'm thankful for that. And a lot of people was like, well, you was young and you gave your Fridays. Yes, I did. And it was okay with me. And me and my mother tag teamed. And that was a blessing. So from there, I went to another job. And we'll talk about that. Because it was quite interesting how the next job came about. Okay?